Hey guys, and welcome. As you can see, I've been turned into a Nurglin, but luckily for me, I'm being held by the mighty Kugarth Plaguefather, and there's not many safer places to be. So let's delve into this. Today, we're going to be showcasing a battle between myself and Logic_EU, as I take the mighty forces of Nurgle in a land battle up against Slaanesh. And in particular, we're going to be highlighting Kugarth himself, because the chunky boy used to be the joke of the demon legendary lords, considered one of the weakest, the slowest, and the most useless. Well, I've got news for you. Kugarth Plaguefather, like many of you I'm sure have heard, is now disgustingly powerful, and in a good way. I like to see the big boy in action, and he is very expensive, so he certainly deserves to be a powerful powerhouse. And the reason he's got so much better is his stats changed drastically? No. Does he have a load new spells? No. He has simply gained one rather simple ability, the Pestilent Decay. This is the Mortis engine that the basic Exalted Big Papa Lord did indeed know already, and it just drains enemy combatants when he is in melee. And considering he's such a tanky boy, that's going to help considerably. For our main force, we have Plague Bearers of Nurgle mixed in with some Forsaken, as well as the Festering Stooges, Regiment Renowned, super fun unit to use. I highly recommend trying them out. With the Cultists of Nurgle, with a Summon and Nurglins down on the ground. We have a nice cheeky little bit of an air force though. We have double Plague Drones with the Death Heads, which is really exciting stuff, and a basic unit of Plague Drones as well, which I think is on the left-hand side here. I believe got a points reduction, don't quote me on that. I need to double check the patch notes, but I'm pretty sure these bad boys did become a little bit cheaper. As my opponent, he's gone with a bit of a gambit to try to take down any large chunguses that I do indeed bring. He has Demonettes of Slaanesh on the flanks. It looks like ones on the far side are indeed the Bringers of Beguilement, the Regiment of Renown, who I think is definitely one of the sleeper hits of the ROR series, because anything that can rampage is so powerful. We have a load of Marauders of Slaanesh in the main battle line, mixture of spears as well as basic troops, and then triple Keeper of Secrets, one of which is Nakari. You can see they are trying to move back and juke back and forth at the moment as the Death Heads come a-looking. Nakari already taken some significant damage. Should be a good fun game. I think there is certainly some nice combos to be had with this build. If you can do some big burst damage with the Keeper of Secrets onto Kugarth and then rampage him before he heals with the Bringers of Beguilement, perhaps there is a way to take down the mighty beastie, because this is traditionally on land battles a very bad matchup for Slaanesh, because they don't have the tools to take someone like Kugarth down that effectively. He's been doing a nice cheeky little bombing kind of dive onto the Demonettes of Slaanesh. I was saying it was a safe place to be a Nurglin. It looks like it's a very bad place to be a Nurglin, unless you want him to get involved in some kind of Nurgle space program as you get launched into Demonettes, and some big nice damage there and poisoning the lovely ladies. My opponent's attempting to juke back and forth, just going all around, trying to dodge as many Death Head shots as possible, which is at least keeping the enemy at bay, and then I can pick apart this front line whilst he attempts to dodge as much value from as possible, but we're still getting quite a lot of work done there. Looks like we are going to be continue to do some nice little bombardments with Kugarth, just aiming at the Demonettes, trying to get them off the battlefield, because I do believe I've got faith in my Forsaken, as well as my Plague Bearers, that they can quite comfortably deal with the enemy Marauders. They may be slow, ponderous, and smelly, but boy oh boy, do they know how to grind out a fight. There's such cool animations as well, just a sloth-like lazy swing of the hands, a bit like me on a weekend morning, just struggling to get up and going. We're going to Stream of Corruption go down on the enemy formation, doing some okay damage, nothing too crazy. Likewise, we've got some Plague Drones flying high in the skies, looking to rear attack the enemy where possible. The big singularities are on arrival at last. The Plague Drone Death has done some significant damage to Nakari, despite the Dukes coming in back and forth. Spearman attempt to apply a bit of pressure to Kugarth, and I'm all for it, because this will now activate my Mortis engine, and he's not going to suffer too much damage despite the anti-large of the Spear unit. Of course, the Festering Stooges will hold the line for about 1,000 years, and the Plague Drones get a lovely little rear attack, going for some cheeky hit-and-run style of play on the Marauders of Slaanesh. Breaking up one unit, we can now float around and bomb dive into the second unit and just try to win the infantry fight where possible. Slicing Shards is going to be coming down, raining icy shards from the sky. At least I thought they were. Looks like that spell was indeed cancelled there last second, which is a bit of a tease. We have the triple Keeper of Secrets going after Kugarth Plaguefather, with Will and Prey going down on him. You can see he's taking significant damage right now, but he is a meaty boy indeed, and we're not currently being rampaged. The debuff has gone off, and we simply pop a Fleshy Abundance on us. That is going to heal us nice and tightly, all the way back up to full HP, at least I would like to think so. Acquiescence goes down, once again trying to nuke our stats a little bit. But the Slaanesh Infantry Corps is really starting to get dragged down here with a Summon Plague Bearers on the battlefield as well. and the Plague Drones continuing to pound at the gate of Nakari's face, really trying to whittle him down as fast as possible. Plague Drones up in the skies, just doing some fantastic cycle charging, just dragging down enemy infantry corps where possible. Big fat juicy stream of corruption is going to go down the line on the Bringers of Beguilement, who are eventually going to carve their way through an unlimited amount of Plague Bearers. Up to 50 kills is quite impressive work. Big fat juicy slicing shards is aiming to try and take down about 50% of my force. Is currently going to be getting clobbered by this. I'm able to pull out the worst of the damage from a lot of my troops, so unfortunately the Summon Plague Bearers take a lot, and Kugarth takes a little bit, but look, he's basically full HP despite fighting off triple of the Keepers. Plague Drones are hounding and harassing, trying to sting Nakari on the bum, it would seem, and force him away. He's getting very low HP-wise. Death Heads continuing to throw those heads from afar. Infantry fight's gone a bit mixed, though. The Bringers of Beguilement have got in there and done some good work. Likewise, wherever the Demonettes go, I have suffered. A load of infantry coming back on the far side, looking to apply a bit of pressure. Keeper of Secrets is attempting to 1v1 at the mighty Kugarth here. Not sure how that's going to go for either of them. Kugarth probably going to take significant damage, but he has popped the Plague Father Oriation down. He doesn't have Will and Prey on him, plus he is a Rampage. It's a disaster moment for me. 2 Keepers on top of him. He has not the ability to cast spells anymore or drop any of his buffs or debuffs. And yeah, his stats down to 24 melee defense, but we have so much HP, it just doesn't even matter. Slicing Shards going to be trying to hit the Festering Stooges, who are rampaging, it would seem. No, they seem fine now. Trying to pull them out of the way, and it looks like we are able to dodge the worst of the Shards. We do then rampage, and we rampage directly into Nakari, even with the Witstealer Sword. Seems to be suffering quite badly here. The Plague Drone's doing some lovely work, shooting those shots down from the high ground. Unfortunately for me, Kugarth is rampaging facing the wrong way and is down to 8,400 HP. He's taking significant damage now, but despite that, it's still looking pretty good for me. The enemy infantry is basically all but dealt with at this point. There's a few more orders left fighting and scrapping. Plague Drones should be able to see to them, though, and force them off the battlefield. Looks like they are going to shatter here. And despite having 2 Keepers left on the battlefield, Army Losses kicks in. Kugarth last victorious in their face. And it shall be a glorious, glorious Nurgle victory as he chucks a beautiful little Nurgle into a ball, scrunches them up, and launches them into the face of the enemy before popping a heal just to rub it in. So Kugarth, Plague Father, the chubbiest and tankiest of boys, he is so hard to kill. And I think the fact he has gained now the Mortis Engine effect, he is going to be picked far more often than we've ever seen him picked before. I think he's actually now a very competitive Lord, which I like to see. Now, he's still got some big, big weaknesses and terrible matchups, of course. On certain open maps, he is going to get obliterated by long range. Nurgle have relatively decent tools to shut down range in, Furies are fantastic. And then you've got the Plague Drones as well. But if your opponent has a good air core and range, for example, let's look at Grand Cafe, I think, of course, Kugarth could be incredibly risky there. But if there's good terrain to block him in, he's rather nice. And the thing that sets him apart, in my opinion, from the Exalted Great Unclean One is the fact he can shoot back, and shoot back hard. His range attacks are very powerful, and the fact that he can kind of counter-shoot crossbow units and gun units, which normally would drag down one of these big, scary monsters, I think is certainly quite a nice feather to his hat. Another nice little skill that he can bring in action. Well played to my opponent, the Mighty Logic. We had a couple of games. I believe he's cast one up on his channel in the last couple of days, so feel free to go check him out. He is found him at YouTube under logic_EU. And yeah, really awesome stuff. Kugarth, 2,781 gold value isn't enough to pay for himself here, and 89 kills is pretty good, but nothing like outstanding. What he did was just absorb damage, absorb a ridiculous amount of damage at that, taking on triple demons who 2.3k, 1.2k, 958. Dilly Nakari not doing that bad damage value-wise, but it doesn't matter when you can simply heal it up. The Death Heads were just... I kind of gambled a little bit that my opponent wouldn't go Mass Furies. I feel like Furies do get overwhelmed in the air anyway against Nurgle. I was hoping with Freeness I could get some work done, and boy oh boy, 1.8k, 1.6k, it is a really scary stuff that the damage output the Death Heads can have when they're unhindered from enemy flies and range and so on. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to leave a big fat juicy thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already for more glorious content into the future. And yeah, feel free to leave a comment down below. There are a bucket ton of links in the description. Twitch, where I do occasional extra streams. Patreon, where you can support the channel, as well as Discord, where you can submit replays to be cast on the channel and get involved in live streams and events. I probably will be doing a stream. It was either going to be today or tomorrow. Most likely tomorrow, I'm going to do like an invitational tournament, like just a 4-man, probably a land battle tournament, and then we'll do a domination tournament a bit later in the week so we can finally get back to casting some awesome competitive play. Until next time, guys, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.